Engine and Tractor Show, Portland, Indiana. And we are going to be checking out some hit miss motors today. And this is one of the larger ones here. We'll come back to it later. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what we're going to be talking to the guys about. There's a lot of very helpful guys here. Some of them will go on YouTube and help me out, and help us out, I should say, educate us. Some of them are a little shy, so I have to kind of help you out myself, and I might get things wrong, so if you're an expert, please correct me. And I hope you enjoy this video. And I appreciate all the gentlemen out here and ladies that let their husbands do this stuff, that keep history alive. Because without these people, this stuff would be lost. So to all you guys that keep these running, thank you very much. And hope you enjoy this video. Okay, we're in the show area now. These are items that are on display. They're not necessarily for sale, but if you have enough money, obviously everything is. So just we're going to take a look at some of this stuff here. Most of the ones I want to take a look at are the running ones, but this little guy right here, Delco Light Company, with that generator on the back end of it, air cooled. Just neat enough I didn't want to walk past and not put it on here. So we'll swing around. You can see trailers full of them ready for the show. But we've got this little Fairbanks Morse here, loaded up with water. And it's going to be running this little corn grinder back here later on. Got some nice paint jobs on these guys. Got a nice little Maytag right here. And back in the day, the washing machines had gas motors on them. And we've got Ohio, made in Sandusky, Ohio. It's always neat to see the valve train running back and forth. You see that little plate open up right there. This one has a mechanical clutch on it. John here in Portland, and he's going to go through. He actually owns some of these. He's got this economy right in front of us, and he's going to go through and show us what makes this work. You can hear it slowing down, and it'll fire and take back off again. So we'll let him go ahead and start.
This is what they call a hit and miss engine. It's got a set of governor balls right here between the flywheels. And what happens is they expand and contract. And when they slow down, they contract. It pulls a pin back, which allows the detent to pull away from the firing arm. And then when it gets ready to fire, the governor balls will pull back in, and it'll allow this arm to come up and trip on the mag, which then creates a spark in the igniter, and that's when it fires and it runs again.
So, and some of this stuff's moving kind of fast. Unfortunately, John has right beside us a similar unit, almost his twin, and you can see the governor balls down in here now. You can see them down there, and this now I can get my arms down a little closer so you can see it. And maybe you've ever heard the saying, balls out means they're going full blast. That's these guys right here. Not balls to the walls, that's a different story, but balls out. But and you can see the gears now that they're not moving. And again, you can see this little step right here he was talking about.
That's the detent.
That's the detent he mentioned. And we can get a little bit closer up here. And this is the magneto, and this generates your spark. And this does not have a spark plug. This has an igniter inside of here. And that's actually what will fire. That piston's going back and forth. And to monitor the fuel going in, we have down here.
It's called a J-type carburetor. It's got a needle valve to it. The tank is underneath the base of the machine.
And the fuel tank's down here.
Yep,
and we've got our water tank up there, which you guys might have saw earlier.
Right. This is a check ball, which when it draws back, the piston draws back, it'll suck fuel in
through the, you can see our valve train up here in the front.
Through the valve. And this will allow, and it'll open, it'll pull fuel out of the J-type mixer into the combustion chamber. And then when she comes back up on top dead center, then she'll fire.
So that gives you a little idea how some of these early hit misses run. We'll swing back over the other one so you can hear it a little bit again. So now you can get a little idea how it works. You see the carburetor down here. This is our fuel system. This is our spark, and this is our valve train.
This is what's pulling fuel in. The intake valve. This is the exhaust valve.
And you can see the intake valve's got a lighter spring than the exhaust valve does.
And this is what they call the valve train. It runs from the governor ball's back. This is a valve train.
So this is kind of maybe almost like a push rod, but not, because it controls a little bit more. And this is your muffler right here. It's just a baffle. So you hear the full explosion of that motor. Makes that sound like what you're used to hearing that hit miss. Well, thanks, John.
You're welcome.
That was good information. And we've got another guy who's got his little hit miss running the pump. I kind of like it's got the Baker monitor engine and pump. It's got the combination there. And got to do a little tweaking on her. Here you can see how they start them. He's got it going. And he's got this set up pretty neat because it'll run this pump and it'll run that bucket, but it's not really going in this bucket. Look over here at this water wheel. So he's got it running a water wheel. So talk this guy to make it a nice feature for your house, for your water feature. Right there you go. So yeah, I like the water wheel going. And this is pumping the water over there. It's actually, you see that garden hose right there? Instead of running out the front, he's backing it out the back end. He's got the valve shut off here so it runs out the back. Through that hose, up, over, and down. So that'd make a really killer piece of yard art for you. Yeah, it takes a couple minutes for it to build enough water for it runs again. I just thought, there we go. He's got it going now. And got a little better lighting on this side so you can see that emblem for that motor. We've got a Thomas & Smith hot air electric pump engine here. This thing is pretty cool. And you see the little tank down there for fuel for propane. And it has a water jacket around the outside. You can see that piston going up and down the top. It runs that arm right there up, which runs this whole mechanism up and down, maybe like a galloping horse, to run over and run this gear with this flywheel. That again has like a shaft on it, like you see connection rod, that runs this pump that's pumping the water from the cooling system, but also you can see how it cools over there. And that's the radiator system for it. So that's a nice, unique piece here at Portland. And this gentleman that owns it says you gotta watch your fingers around that guy. But it's really cool. I like all the mechanism on it. Yeah, we have two more of them over here. A little different brand. This is Ericsson engine. And similar but different with the patent laws and everything. Everybody had a little different idea on how to make things work. And it's got like a little fireplace down there. But this one again is running off your propane. And it's running a piston up and down. You see the piston up, it's going to be up in here. And again, a flywheel on the other side. And again, arms working back and forth. And then we have a little baby guy over here that's a horizontal instead of vertical. And again, you can see the runs off that same propane. And it's simpler, yeah, you see it just got almost like a sewing machine on this one. The piston's down, piston's right there. It's running possibly a pump or something down below. Oh, that's where the, wait a second, I might have told you wrong. That might be compressing air. But anyways, if you know, let me know, because I think I might have got that one 100% backwards. But very cool. Let's go check out some more of these good looking, interesting engines and motors here at engines. Sorry if I say motors. That's a bad habit. Another Fairbanks motor engine. Fairbanks and Morris. Nice paint, nicely painted up. These are kits of fitness motors. You can see some of them running here at the show. And working. They even got small pumps, pumping water. Nice display. We've got our little collection of engines running, hit missers. Nice looking IH one there. But the one that kind of gets my attention, let's see this guy working down here on the end. Westinghouse. Smells like diesel. And it is running a generator. You can see the light bulb. Circuit breaker box. So if you lose power at home, you got a backup generator right here. Cool, a little bit more complicated than my backup generator, but I like it. Yeah, it's a good looking case right beside it too. For International Harvest, I should say. And for those you can't get enough of these hit misses, I'm going to keep filming the runs that are running out here. And keep watching, because tonight I'm going to stick around for the spark off. And that's something everybody says you can't miss. And I've missed it for how many years I've been coming here. Probably on and off for 20 years. So I'm going to stick around tonight for it. We're checking out this little, see it right there, domestic engine here. And he's actually got a pump on it. He's going to get it running the right way for us. Yeah, it's run just a little slow, but now we can actually see the balls he was telling me about.
Yeah, there's the
See,
governor
that's the
ball.
governor adjustment ball. We sold the regular balls before, they kind of spread out. This is a little different setup, and the kind of reason I stopped him to look at this one, because it has a completely, well, not completely, but a different timing and spark operation than some of the other ones. And I think it's running backwards than it was just a minute ago.
No, it's running
The same
right
direction? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
This
we were talking.
design's a lot quieter.
Okay, it is very quiet. You can see, we'll see, flip that around so you can see from the front. You can see as it gets slower and slower. You see I'll just hit that spark? And it's sparking it. And he's got just a carburetor down here just a little bit, which is a little different than the other ones we saw too. That is, what's the name of this carbonation set or fuel
It's a
system?
Lukenheimer mixer.
That's a Lukenheimer mixer if you didn't hear him. And you can see it has almost like a cam, like you would think of in a car. And we just saw the governor in the back on his flywheel. And again, like all of them, it's got the piston going back and forth around the crankshaft. These, he has some really nice looking oilers on them. If you don't have those nice looking oilers, you gotta lube them yourself. But most of the guys here have the oilers. Your pump over here.
That's a water pump.
That is a water pump, and would have used that in stone quarries everywhere, anywhere.
This was ordered for a guy up in just north of Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, so this came out of
Pump his
Richmond.
house.
Oh, for his house. So this is his water pump for his home. So I assume that guy had some money back in the day to have something this elaborate.
He never got the cabin built.
Oh wow.
So it never got used.
So this is still like new.
Yeah.
This is almost new old stock. So if you got broke down domestic, this gentleman's got a new old stock right here in Portland. And but yeah, I love seeing all these different ideas and designs, because there are a lot of patents out there for this stuff. So some guys try to come up with different ideas, like just like you're looking at right here, to make your igniter work. What year is this, being it has igniter, not spark plug?
1906.
So this is very early, 1906. That's why you don't see a spark plug and you see an igniter. Okay, we give her a shot of fuel. That's where he primes it at. And we'll see if we get enough spark to get her going. Oh, built some pressure on that one. There it goes. There we got it going. Yeah, boom, boom. Bring her up to speed. And your intake is ran off vacuum only, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you see, some of them have a intake valve is mechanical, but on this one it's vacuum.
Right. Yeah.
So like I said before, it's always interesting to see how they do.
It makes the hit in this part where
Yeah.
so it'll just hold the. Because other words, it would fire every time.
And you can see, like we were talking about, there's the balls spinning. Those balls control how fast it runs. If you're too slow, yours have a detent down there somewhere.
Yeah. So it's got the.
Oh, it's got
right,
the cam.
right
Yeah.
There's the trip and the cam.
Yeah. Here you can see how it's a little bit different. And then we just pop.
Tell the balls, tell the governor balls go up, and then
We'll speed it up or run too slow, and we'll
Yep.
speed it up. We've got a fuel pump down here,
yep,
and obviously this is we'll call it the carburation system.
yep, and then it's got a water pump on the other side.
Oh yeah, it does. And it does have a proper water pump. That's got water in that head to cool it. And you can see this is the equivalent of a radiator. Do you guys have a name for these water cooling systems besides a radiator?
What's that?
What do they call this system besides a
Tray
radiator?
cooling.
Tray cooling, okay. So the technical name would be tray cooling. So we got an old Alamo going. So what's this big guy we got up in front of it? So this one's yours as well?
Yeah, that's the Alamo as well, yeah.
So we got another Alamo over here. And somebody's got a good looking, spent a lot of time restoring this one over here. Did you hear that? That thing barely makes any noise. There, it just hit. I don't even know if you'll hear it on this. There it went again. You can see the exhaust. Wow, that's quiet. That's from England. And I see counterweights are inside of there as well for the crankshaft. Wow. I don't see counterweights that big on a lot of motors, or engines I should say. Excuse me for saying motors again. But you can see them in there. They're big orange counterweights spin around like you see on a modern crankshaft. You see the little mechanism running, the timing, springs, everything here in the front. Oh, and I mentioned that this one was pretty quiet because it runs off propane, hot tube. But everything on this trailer is British. This guy right here. So we've got some UK equipment here at Portland as well. Nice. So we're going to go find some more hit misses that are running. Another big one running. got a 2-cylinder here. So you can see one here and one here. The second cylinder, I believe, is just producing air. This side, this cylinder is the one you said, this is like a pre-charge.
Right, pre-charge.
And it will go through and it will charge.
Air and gas will go in here and mix together.
It's like our air and gas mixes in this cylinder. And you can see the piston and rod over on the other side over there. And that's to charge that main cylinder.
Right, this is the transfer valve down here. Down underneath here, that's the transfer valve.
So this is almost like you said, it's like a supercharger almost.
Right.
So, and almost all these motors operate as a 2-cycle.
Those are 2-cycle, yeah.
And somewhere on here, we got a governor. Which,
The governor would be right here. Which we control this right here.
Down here.
Yeah.
So, gives you a little idea. Like I said earlier, there's so many different patterns and designs and ideas when we push up the machines. It's amazing. This little Reid gas engine here, it would have a belt that ran from here back or forward, wherever the tool is. And this is the clutch. This is the lever. So you pull this in or out to engage it. And it's got a little cam system up here. And these will release the brake. Or actually engage the clutch so it's running. Instead it's freewheeling. It's got an oil wick up here. And it even runs, that's got a little cam on it, runs a pump. That pumps your water. So you do all those things with this setup right here on the side of this Reid motor. I like the Vice too. But what a nice little setup he's got on this one. It actually shows you how they transferred power from here to here, and they can turn it on and off with that arm right there on that clutch setup. And we're getting ready to start another one. He's adjusting air fuel. This one started nice and easy for him. It's got it dialed in pretty good. Just little adjustments here and there. If you get a chance, look up Tom Greer's YouTube channel. TOMGREIER, if I'm spelling that right. I'll put it down in the description. But he has a lot of great information on his channel as well. And these have taper fit keys in them as well. Those aren't just straight keys. So those have to be hand fit. And we've got a chain driving the water pump for this one around the back side. Just like a bicycle chain running a regular old water pump. You can see it down there. I can't walk away without pointing out this little tractor here. Everything going on it. You can see it's got an old school starter. motor, or engine, sorry. And we got our flywheel belt. It's got rubber bolted to the steel wheels. It's belt driven by this right here. Comes forward, pushes that belt down, and engages that drive unit. That drives across from here over to here to this chain. That chain goes into that transmission. That chain comes out, drives this chain, which goes down in that rear end, which looks like a rear end out of maybe a small rear engine car, maybe a Jeep or something. That chain drives that differential. The differential drives the wheels. Now it's not just that. We gotta check out this steering comes down to this box, okay, and then it goes over to this arm on the other side. Okay, now you can see the steering box. There's the arm, comes down here. So that's how the steering works. So it's got a little Continental front end on it. But yeah, it's got a lot going on just to get this little guy going. Pretty neat. Okay, I'm with Zach here at Portland, and he's going to go through, because this Reid has something different that I've not seen. And I'll let him explain it to you, because he knows much better than I do.
Our Reid, it's technically factory equipment. You get them from like oil well supply. This is what we call a wet gas meter. Okay, basically this is a fancy accumulator tank that has its own valve that's self-adjusting. And my inlet side over here and my outlet both have pipes that stick up in the middle, and the oil level is about an inch below the top of the pipe. As gas flows in, it fills this cavity in it before going back out to the engine, and it's designed to keep, if the engine were to hit a heavy load, you wanted some sort of a cushion for your fuel demand so it didn't pull fuel away from your hot tube and kill the engine.
And what Zach and I didn't tell you ahead of time was there is a regulator here, and as you mentioned, it reduces it down to about 10.
So this is taking bottle pressure down from, reducing the bottle pressure to somewhere below 10 pounds. I haven't put a gauge on it, I don't know exactly what it's at. I just backed it all the way off and put enough pressure on it to maintain the gas meter over here. So we got to be below 10 pounds as a first gauge for our main regulator.
And it comes up, as you can see, through here, up here, over to us, like you just mentioned, the main regulator.
Yeah, and our main regulator is knocking this down to roughly 11 inches of water depth.
And then you see a small valve right here, and you can see it moving just ever so slightly. And like you said, that's the accumulator. And we'll walk over, because these Reids are almost like a two-cycle.
They are two.
And it has is a pressure stage or a charging stage on this side.
Even if this is a two-cycle engine, you know, usually like a two-stroke ATV engine or something, the back side of the piston is sealed, and when the piston drops, the pressure that it creates shoves the fuel around the piston through passages and into the combustion chamber.
And we'll slip around the side here so you can see that piston a little bit.
The back side of this piston is open, so there's nothing to force fuel into the chamber.
See it in there?
That's what this piston is doing. This piston is doing nothing but moving fuel. It pulls it in, and then when it compresses, it shoves it through our,
you can see
our center transfer valve
right
over
there.
here into the main piston.
And you can see the governor here. We talked about earlier about balls out, and that kind of controls the speed as well. And this one, and we see up here, a little backstory on it, 15 horsepower. And did you guys pick this up in West Virginia yourselves?
We did.
And what kind of work was it doing in West Virginia?
So in West Virginia, we don't know exactly what kind of well it was on. We don't know if it was on a standard rig or a central power lease, either one. But this engine was on some sort of oil lease and in service until 1983.
So this was still running up until 1983, you heard them. We have some kind of special, I see oil here, and I see it looks like a little bit of unique oiler right there.
Yep, so this oiler here is oiling our charging rod bearing. The brass cup that is there, which we call a milk can, is also an oiler, but you have to shut the engine off to fill that. This was designed to be able to oil this bearing without shutting the engine down.
That kind of looks like it's floating. I'll slip it along to the side here. You see that? It's not touching there. To analyze that right here, it looks like it's part of the flywheel, but it is not. That is actually floating out there. And like you said, they'll take that oil, and they'll keep that oiler full so they can keep this machine running 24/7 if they need to. So, I mean, they've got all really nice oilers, all clean and shiny up here. We've got a Palmer thermometer up here. And what temperature are we monitoring with this thermometer?
So, depending on how long it's run, I don't know exactly. We're running around roughly 200 right at the moment. Even if this engine gets to boiling temperature, 212 is not hot enough to melt anything or hurt any of the bearings. Generally speaking, the factory calls for this outlet temperature to be no more than 170 degrees. Okay. But I have a limited water supply on the tank, and eventually running it long enough, it will all heat up and it'll bring the temperature up a little bit. But usually, even running all day, within a couple minutes of me shutting down, this is already back down to 150 degrees.
So it cools pretty quickly.
It cools real quick.
Very nice. Yeah, you guys got a really clean looking piece here. And you got one of the spark plugs sitting out?
Yeah, that's kind of become a running joke for us. It got left there accidentally a couple shows back, and so now the whole thing is to just see how long we can leave it.
There you go. So that's a little family thing going right there. You gotta love that stuff. What do we got going on with our cable running around?
The cable here is on a driller's wheel or a telegraph wheel. This is actually what has control over the speed of the engine right at the moment. Our governor is here, but not hooked to anything.
The governor is for looks right now.
The governor is for looks right now.
Our speed control is right here.
Controlling our throttle. Okay, but this had a cable or a rope or something wrapped around it, and they would run the other end to another pulley, which would go outside the powerhouse, and they could control the engine from underneath the oil tank. They didn't want to have to walk back into the engine to make it start again.
Yeah, so he said you could take this pulley, have another one right over here, whatever, and run it way off, and they can control the speeds of all the motors from somewhere in a distance.
This will pop and it backfires, and then this off.
Thanks, Zach.
Yes, sir.
We've got a neat little hit miss motor blacksmith shop right here at Portland. And that's pretty cool, but what's behind me making all this thumping noise? That beast. We'll walk around the other side of it. You can see a big monster flywheel. There's that little water pump keeping it cool. Yeah, that big monster. You can see the kids vibrating. They're loving it. Stop balance the best, that's for sure. Oh yeah, this is a beast. This is a Fairbanks. Is it shaking any?
Yes.
You guys bouncing up and down?
What?
Are you bouncing up and down? Kids love this thing. Just shut her down. And we're on Fairbanks Avenue right now. You saw a big one a second ago. We've got a big single cylinder, 50 horse. Well, when we put that a little bigger as well. A little bigger than this. 50 horse. Look at the big flywheels. It as awesome as this one is, check out this big guy. Look at that clutch and flywheel. Impressive. That lever down there engages that big massive clutch. Another big Fairbanks Morris. Like I said, we're on Fairbanks Avenue right now. This is one of the big guys here. As you can see, it's on semi-trailer running gear. Well, it's not the only big one. These two guys are big. But behind me, we have a 55 horsepower Muncie. You can see it bounce around on the running gear. Here's a little information on it. It is a diesel. What a beast. And we've got a little guy right beside it. We're going to get a little bit smaller here for a minute. You can see the Fairbanks or the Muncie running in the background. We got this little guy here. Got this early diesel here. And I don't see information on it. I'm curious what brand it is. If it's maybe an early cat or something. But it does have a big monster flywheel on it. There we go.
That's a Fairbanks as well.
And you probably caught a glimpse behind me. Yeah. We got one more neat display. Portland's always got all kinds of cool little contraptions driving around. He's got his little hit-miss motor going there. His little John Deere hit-miss motor with his bench seat on his wagon. And got the old John Deere steering wheel fenders, dual wheels. And they even got a name for this little thing. Yep. Nice little contraption. You wanna get her going? You wanna get her going? He's almost got it. Just about. I hear compression. Another Reid. Really nice restoration on this. That frame, even though it's not original, look at that paint job. Wow. Look at him. Look at everything shine. Look at him. What a great restoration.
Church.
See, the oilers are all polished up nice. Big stainless pipe. That's a good looking piece right there. Got another Reid going. And I didn't get to see him do it, but check this out.
That's what they used to start right there.
Fire that motor up, that wheel get turning. It'll spin that big flywheel, and that's how they start these big reeds up without having people pulling them flywheels really hard. Another domestic gear run. Get some big atlases over here. Little water pump going down there. Sorry, cool. That's fuel delivery down there. You can see all the mechanisms that go to run the drivetrain, or the valve train, I should say. And these guys all have a lot of miniature versions of their big ones. And he's doing a little preheating on that one. Working on getting her fired up. You look real close, you see a little bit of heat coming out of there. Blowing a little heat in the cylinder. I'm here looking at this Hercules. It's got a 5 Hercules motor on it, but it's got a big water pump. The pump's almost as big or bigger than the motor there. And Jeremy here, he's the owner and operator. And they said they used to use this guy for draining ditches, small streams and stuff when they're putting bridges in. And he says it'll pump that empty in no time. He says that comes out in a pretty steady stream. So we'll take a look at it. He can maybe explain better how everything works here, because we pretty much know how the hit miss works over here. Yep. But we've got a lot of gears coming across over here, and yeah, maybe he can point out.
It just, all it is like a piston in here.
Okay, so he's just going to run it by hand a little bit, so you can see this small gear right here, gear reduction, to run this big one, and it's going to run over and back.
Yep.
So it'll be just like a crankshaft in your car. And that's going to come around, and you can see the piston going in. And I did not notice at first, this is a dual piston setup.
Yep.
So it's going to pump twice as much as you're used to. So both sides are drawing and pumping. And as you can see there, that's a Barnes system. So that's going to be drawing, it's running basically 2 pumps. And so he's going to be pumping water pretty quick with this setup. And you can see how easy it spins over for him. There's no compression, he's probably got it released right now.
I got the intake held in so I can turn it.
And again, you see it's this dual setup like he just said. Both sides got gears, so it runs even, smooth. They always have their packing down here, wicking for the oil for lubrication, along with all the little other places you have to add your oil, all your oilers. And here we go. Barnes, it was actually made here in Mansfield, Ohio. So it's good to see stuff that was made in USA. You don't see that as often anymore. So nice little piece of equipment. We got another little mixer here. This one's a different variety. This one is a quick mix. And it's similar to the other one, chain drive, dumps, turns, spins, all the normal stuff. So we'll walk around and check out the power plant. Slip in here, get down low so I get the sun out. So here we go. A little information on it. But yeah, another hit miss and a piece of equipment that actually was used on the quick mix. We got a Sanders Cyclone here. It actually has a clutch on both sides of this one. As you can see, pulling that arm to engage them for drilling rigs. So you can drill and pump. You can see a little water pump down over here. And that runs the water across here for cooling. And he built a lot of these parts because he didn't have any. For the governor and stuff. Rick made those parts that look real good, did a good job. He just made them off pictures because there's no prints for this old stuff. This guy's brass polished up nice. You can see the valve train working on the top. Vacuum operated intake. There it goes. Yeah, this is another contraption that a motorcycle, I'll call it, that our gentlemen have made. Pretty amazing. They got the little Harley style fuel tank on top. Sorry about my shadow. And I'll get down lower so you can kind of see the little motor that goes down to some gear reduction. A big chain sprocket and back. If I see this thing driving around, I'll make sure to get a video for you guys. It's pretty amazing.
The taillight's just
I'm here with Wayne. He's the creator of this little
co-creator.
What we call this, a rat rod motorcycle hit miss? Or
Well, I guess it's an international LA engine, so it's throttle governor.
Okay.
It's not actually hitting this, but it runs off the throttle governor side.
Okay, so it is a little international.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about his custom little tail light on there.
Yeah, that's just like a taillight that would have been on an old truck or something. Nothing special. But
Where'd you get your custom frame set up on for that? Looks.
It's just.
Is it just steel you guys made and patinaed?
It's just 1/4-inch steel with square tube, and then we rusted everything.
So they did a nice job patining it. They found some old spoke rims off
John
of
Deere corn planter.
corn planter wheels. Okay.
Yeah.
Now they do have a little bit more modern tires on it.
Yeah.
But they are car size, so
Yeah, they are.
195. That's actually bigger than you see on a lot of motorcycles.
Right. Yeah.
And your fuel tank, does it actually work, or is it just?
No, that's where the electrics are. My battery and my wiring and the switches and everything. Everything's in that. Because of the gas tank for the engine's down below the engine.
We'll step around front here so we can see that a little better. So you can see the gas tank tucked away down underneath here. And I'll get around this the sunlight side so I can.
Packard headlight.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to forget that big old headlight on there. He's got a big Packard headlight. And he's not allowed to ride it at the show right now, so unfortunately we can't take it down. And he's got it running. You can hear it. And you can see other side. His leg is beside that little flywheel, so he's got to be a pretty careful driver. And it's smooth, so it's not quite a meat grinder, but there's his on-off switch. But yeah, pretty amazing little piece. The guys did a good job on it. Thanks for showing me that, Wayne.
Yeah.
I've shown you a few of these little hit-miss motors. This is a Reid, as you can see. But I just saw my hand. That's this, what's like a 10 scale? Quarter scale. Quarter scale, you see it's got the water radiator type tray. Not quite tray, what's the screen tray? Cooler? Screen cooler. And, but these are not available anymore. They had to build this one from scratch over here. And these kits, so if you see something like this around your grandfather's workbench or something, definitely don't throw it away. And they are getting valuable and they are no longer made. And they did a great job on painting this and detailing it out. You can see all the oilers just perfectly done. Even the fuel system. At the Tri-State Engine Show, we see a lot of hit-miss motors. Check this out in the background. If I can get that zoomed in. We've got biplanes flying around up top of us. So that's really neat to have biplanes buzzing the hit-miss motors. Yeah, this is an old Bessemer. And you'll see a lot of these big ones. They have these starters on them. It's just a little wheel and a motor. When we get that spinning, we'll bring it over and it'll touch this flywheel and spin that flywheel. But yeah, nice big old Bessemer here. And you can see the big old clutch on it too. Boys are cutting some wood and making some sawdust for tonight. Look off in the distance. Yeah, this is being ran. It's being ran by the case. We'll walk out and take a look at that here shortly. Making adjustments in the front. So I'll adjust it out and I'll slide that next board on. We'll stack some boards on there. Now, one of the important things you have to do if you're going to run a sawmill, like these guys are, you got to have a proper beard. These guys, that's one of the main things to run a sawmill. You got to have a proper beard. He's adjusting it over. We'll walk up, we'll check out that steam tractor. I know this is kind of about hit and misses, but this stuff's pretty cool too. And you can see our pulley there. And we're running back to this nice old case. This is a 40 horsepower. Making some material for the Spark Show tonight? Or are you going to be doing it tonight or one of the other guys? And you can see he's got a little information on there. 1916. How much does this old case weigh? Greg says it weighs 24,000 pounds. And you're pulling down just a little bit. How often do you have to add water to it? So he has to add some water to her every 5 minutes. Keep her pressure up. What kind of pressures do these run at? Okay. And I don't know if you heard him, he says it pops off at 150, but he only runs 60 pounds right now. They're just doing small cuts. But yeah, it's always neat to see these. You look inside, you can see what drives it. You can see that little gear up in there. Gear reduction to drive that great big, and all that horsepower is generated that one piston. And again, like the hit miss motors, you can see the bulge up there for the governor. So that's some shared technology there passed along. And we're done cutting wood. Nighttime at the Hit and Miss show here in Portland, Tri-State Engines. See, they got lights on the flywheel. Little lights for whatever the little pots are called.
Yellow dog.
Yeah. 1900 technology. A little otherworldly at night. Very steampunk. I'm going to do a hit in this video. There's one thing I have to have. I got to have a hit in this motor making homemade ice cream. So this video is about done. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend if they're into these things, or even if they're not. Try to educate people on these hit misses. And if you know somebody that has a lot of knowledge about these, please put their videos, their page or whatever you want in the comments below. So next thing I'm going to be doing is getting me a bowl of homemade, hit-miss-made ice cream from Grandma Moses. Yeah, you got to have some of this before we go.